I swore when I was preparing the questions for this interview that I would not use the phrase male chauvinist. But you are a male chauvinist, aren't
All right,
you?
and what is a male chauvinist?
Well, it's a guy who it's that sort of macho.
Hi, and welcome to Gossip Spill. Barbara Walters personified grace under pressure, a trailblazing journalist whose legendary career reshaped daytime television. More than just a pioneering broadcaster or the creator of a beloved talk show, she was a cultural icon. Even in retirement, her name remained synonymous with unforgettable interviews and groundbreaking narratives. So when the shocking news broke that The View, the talk show she co-created, was being canceled, it sent shockwaves through millions. This wasn't a mere programming change. It marked the possible end of a cultural institution. And at the heart of this drama was Walters herself, who, according to insiders, reached an emotional breaking point unlike anything the industry had ever seen. Rumors about The View's cancellation started as barely audible whispers, dismissed at first as standard industry gossip. But as the days passed, the chatter gained weight. Could the daytime giant truly be on its last leg? Once untouchable, the show was now facing whispers of declining ratings and backstage tensions. Initially, Walters seemed unshaken. She had weathered decades of rivalries, controversies, and high-stakes crises, and The View always endured. Yet, as weeks turned into months, the murmurs evolved into an undeniable certainty. The end was near. Network executives danced around the topic, their silence adding fuel to the speculation. They avoided making public statements, likely fearing backlash from viewers and sponsors alike. But the signs were unmistakable. Backstage, a tense silence took over. Production staff who once exuded confidence now seemed uneasy, avoiding direct questions about the show's future. Even the show's co-hosts, usually vibrant and bold in interviews, suddenly grew evasive, offering vague reassurances while sidestepping the deeper questions. For those paying attention, the truth was clear. Something seismic was about to happen. Barbara Walters, though largely in a behind-the-scenes role in recent years, found herself unwillingly pulled into the swirling rumors. Insiders revealed she was relentlessly lobbying the network brass to save the show she considered her ultimate legacy. Her arguments, though impassioned, met resistance. The media landscape had shifted dramatically since The View first debuted, and the network seemed determined to refocus its programming.
Women are kind of nice as long as they're not too much around and a good whack.
I never said that. I never said that.
Well, you said you don't mind giving him a little whack.
Walters' legacy, while revered, appeared no match for the cold calculus of ratings and revenue. When the final decision came, it wasn't announced with fanfare. It arrived quietly, through a dry corporate memo. Staffers learned that the current season would be the last, with explanations citing shifting audience preferences and strategic programming changes. For those who had poured their hearts into the show, the news was devastating. The once buzzing studio now felt subdued, every moment tinged with finality. Each guest segment, each debate, each show opening theme was suddenly laced with bittersweet nostalgia. Amid this collective heartbreak, Barbara Walters' personal turmoil became the most poignant story of all. Accounts from staff members painted a heartbreaking picture, a legend grappling with the end of her most cherished creation. One assistant recalled seeing Walters weeping quietly in a hallway, tissues in hand, stunned by how quickly it was all ending. Another staffer described an emotional meeting where Walters, her voice quivering, begged executives to explore alternatives, adjusting time slots, trying new formats, anything to save the show. Yet her pleas fell on deaf ears, deepening the emotional weight of her loss. Why did this news hit Barbara Walters so deeply? To understand, you have to revisit the origins of The View. When Walters co-created the show, she envisioned a revolutionary concept, a dynamic panel of women discussing everything from recipes to politics, effortlessly transitioning between the lighthearted and the profound. The idea was bold, uniting multiple generations and perspectives in a way that had never been attempted on daytime TV. Over the years, the show became an incubator for diverse, often clashing personalities. Yet Walters' steady presence, whether on camera or guiding from behind the scenes, remained its heartbeat. As The View rose to prominence, Walters watched it transform into a cultural phenomenon. Presidents, movie stars, best-selling authors, and trailblazing figures graced its stage. It wasn't just a talk show. It was a national forum that shaped public discourse. Yes, the show had its share of controversies, viral on-air arguments, feuds among co-hosts, and statements that stirred outrage. But But to Walters, these very moments underscored the show's importance. Its ability to provoke conversation and engage audiences made it vital. The cancellation didn't just feel like the loss of a program. For Walters, it symbolized the end of an era, one she had tirelessly fought to shape. In the days after the memo, Walters' emotional state became a subject of intense speculation. Headlines questioned whether she felt betrayed by the network or regretted decisions about the show's evolution. Close friends and mentees reached out, offering words of support, but unsure how to console someone who had always been unshakable, a composed force on screen, a diplomatic leader off it. Now, insiders described her as unexpectedly vulnerable, grappling with a profound sense of loss. At a heartfelt staff meeting, Walters reportedly opened up, voicing regrets about not pushing harder to preserve the show's original vision. Though she avoided placing blame, her reflections carried weight. She lamented The View's gradual shift from wide-ranging, substantive discussions to more tabloid-style content, a transformation she felt had eroded its prestige. If we had stayed truer to the vision, she mused, a diverse group of articulate women discussing meaningful topics, maybe we'd have weathered these changing times. Her words weren't accusations. They were a bittersweet acknowledgement of what might have been. Meanwhile, fans of Walters and The View took to social media, flooding platforms with messages of grief and gratitude. Hashtags lamenting the cancellation trended for days, with viewers reminiscing about episodes that had shaped their perspectives or validated their experiences. Many credited the show with being their first glimpse of women engaging in spirited, respectful debate.
In 1971, Barbara sat alongside Today host Frank McGee.
This morning is Barbara Walters.
I thought for a second you couldn't remember.
No.
Frank McGee sets up a rule that she can't speak until he has had his say.
Barbara Walters was not allowed to speak during an interview
My question is, do you think that
until he had asked the first 3 questions.
Others shared heartfelt tributes to Walters, recalling how her incisive interviews with world leaders and cultural icons had inspired them. A touching video tribute circulated online, showcasing her most unforgettable moments. Candid conversations with presidents, intimate dialogues with Hollywood legends, and the early days of The View, where her calm authority set the tone. It wasn't just fans mourning the end of The View. Journalists and media analysts also weighed in, reflecting on Barbara Walters' monumental legacy. Many praised her as a trailblazer, who shattered barriers for women in broadcasting. Canceling The View wasn't just a programming decision. To some, it symbolized a setback for female-led media, in an industry often quick to sideline such voices in favor of more conventional fare. Analysts tempered their critiques with the harsh reality that even cultural icons fall prey to the ruthless economics of modern television. Meanwhile, podcasts and talk radio shows debated the show's legacy and speculated whether a reboot might find new life online. Yet, the prevailing mood was one of loss, especially among those who saw The View as the embodiment of Walters' pioneering vision. For Walters, the disappointment was deeply personal. Though she had stepped back from on-camera duties years earlier, she remained the soul of the show, a guiding force whose influence was felt in every episode. When cancellation became inevitable, rumors swirled that she was considering one last on-air appearance, brief cameos to engage with the co-hosts and audience, or even a grand finale celebrating the show's most iconic moments. But conflicting reports emerged. Some claimed Walters was too heartbroken to return to the set. Others suggested the network was wary of a high-profile send-off, fearing it would shine an unflattering spotlight on the cancellation. One of Walters' closest confidants described her as caught in an agonizing dilemma. She wanted to honor the loyal viewers who had championed the show over the years, yet she wrestled with a profound sense of frustration. A grand farewell might only magnify the heartbreak of the show's abrupt end. How could she say goodbye to something that defined her later career, especially under circumstances she felt were unjust? It was a question with no easy answer, leaving Walters visibly torn. Entertainment media seized on the drama, with tabloids plastering sensational headlines like Barbara's breaking point and Walters' tearful goodbye. Photos purportedly showing her leaving the studio with reddened eyes circulated widely, fueling speculation about her emotional state. Critics accused tabloids of exploiting her grief, while others argued that the public had a right to witness the struggles of an icon. Meanwhile, major news outlets aired tributes, celebrating her unparalleled career, with anchors recounting how she transformed daytime television and paved the way for women in journalism. Behind the scenes, the producers of The View scrambled to craft a fitting farewell. Without clear direction from the network, they explored ways to honor the show's legacy while managing executive constraints. Rumors suggested inviting back former co-hosts, some of whom had left under contentious circumstances, for a reunion. Others envisioned a series of retrospective episodes with special guests paying homage to Walters. Yet the network's apparent reluctance to invest heavily in a goodbye made it unclear how far these plans could go. The challenge was to balance the celebration of the show's legacy with the quiet resignation of its end. As the final taping approached, the atmosphere on set grew heavy. The usual flurry of activity slowed to a somber rhythm. Staffers who had been with the show since its inception reflected on the early days, the excitement of breaking new ground, and now found themselves struggling to accept the end. The hum of cameras and overhead lights amplified the weight of the moment, as silent glances between colleagues spoke volumes. Some admitted feelings of guilt, wondering if they could have done more to prevent the show's demise. Walters herself was rarely present by then, but her influence remained palpable. Insiders said she was torn about appearing on camera one final time. Despite her emotional state, she stayed deeply involved, reviewing highlight reels and offering feedback on potential farewell segments. Staff members began finding handwritten notes on their desks, brief messages of thanks, always signed simply, Barbara. These small, heartfelt gestures brought many to tears, a reminder of how much the show, and its people, meant to her. The fateful day arrived. The View would air its final episode in its original format. The studio was thick with emotion. The co-hosts, a mix of longtime panelists and newer faces, tried to keep their usual lively energy, but every word carried a tinge of sadness. The audience, keenly aware of the moment's significance, erupted into applause more often than usual, as if clinging to the show's final moments. When the program signed off, it did so quietly. No extravagant send-off, no grand finale, just a few heartfelt words of thanks and a poignant montage of unforgettable moments.
So she pivoted and started arranging interviews in the field.
What I wanted to ask is how she could do the first 3 questions and all the other questions too.
After McGee's death in 1974, Barbara Walters became the first woman named co-host of Today, interviewing newsmakers and stars.
And then it was over. For Barbara Walters, the moment marked the end of an extraordinary chapter. She had revolutionized television journalism with her empathetic, probing interviews and reshaped daytime TV with her groundbreaking vision for The View. The cancellation was a gut punch, and those close to her saw the toll it took. Yet, despite the tears and heartbreak, Walters' indomitable spirit remained. She had built a career on pushing boundaries, and even this painful ending couldn't erase her impact. As the dust settled, the studio that once buzzed with debates and laughter fell silent. Viewers moved on to other programs, but the conversations sparked by The View endured. The show had become more than a panel of co-hosts. It was a cultural phenomenon. Former guests reminisced about their appearances, paying tribute to Walters' vision and the unique platform she created. For Walters, the grief was personal, but for the world, it was a moment to reflect on her transformative contributions to modern media. Whether Walters would break her silence remained uncertain. Some speculated she was working on a reflective essay, a written farewell to her audience. Others believed she might grant one last interview, offering her perspective on the show's end and the evolving media landscape. For now, she stayed quiet, surrounded by loved ones who gave her the space to process the loss on her own terms. Television history is marked by moments that feel like turning points, and the end of The View was undeniably one of them. Its cancellation, under circumstances that left even its legendary creator in tears, was a reminder of how fragile even the most iconic institutions can be in an industry ruled by ratings and reinvention. For Walters, it was a deeply personal loss, a chance for sorrow and reflection, but perhaps also a seed for reinvention. As the public speculated about her next move, one thing was clear. Barbara Walters' legacy was too immense to be defined by a single cancellation. The emotional outpouring from viewers wasn't just mourning the end of a show. It was a testament to the love and respect she had earned over decades of trailblazing work. Across homes and online forums, the conversation continued. People debated the final episodes and the network's decision to end such a beloved program. Yet one image lingered most vividly. Barbara Walters, whose poise and strength had defined her career, shedding tears over the show she had poured her heart into. It was a moment that revealed the human vulnerability behind her legendary career and underscored the deep connection she shared with her audience. In the end, The View wasn't just a show, it was a cultural force that shaped conversations and left a legacy as enduring as Walters herself. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more deep dives into the most controversial moments and shocking truths, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. We've got more eye-opening stories and jaw-dropping revelations coming your way. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and share this video with someone who'd love it. Until next time, this is Gossip Spill, and I'll see you in the next one.